Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
We're back.
It's been a while for K-Gods.
It has, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you why that is.
Unfortunately. It is actually very unfortunate. I'm not just saying that to be cute.
Yeah.
The past few weeks have been nothing but unfortunateness.
Yeah, that's actually
for
very
all
real.
of us. So we'll but start with you, K-Gods.
Okay, yeah, so here's what happened. I was at A-Kon, and again, I'll get to that later, but
Yes.
It does need to be explained what happened. And at day 2, I got a text from my dad, basically saying my mom was in the intensive care unit.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and I can't leave. I can't
Right.
I can't just get a flight.
Yeah, you're out of state.
Literally, I can't even leave. So about halfway through the convention, I'm notified that my mother nearly dies. And so I have that weighing in the back of my head before I get back. And then I do get back, and she's still in the hospital for over a week. Carbon dioxide poisoning.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Here's how bad it was. 106% contamination.
Eesh.
The fact that she could even still walk around, the doctors were kind of puzzled she could.
But how did that happen?
Because she's on oxygen.
Oh.
And, like, while she's sleeping, it wasn't, like, going out well.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah, so had to get, like, a BiPAP. It took over 3 days for the levels to even start going down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad. So, naturally, that caused a bit of a problem, because as soon as I got back, boom, like, there's that, you know?
Yeah.
As soon as I touched down out of the airport, boom, I got to get up there. It was just a real nightmare.
And you couldn't...
She's okay now, by the way.
Good.
That's good.
Good.
You couldn't... I bet you really couldn't enjoy yourself at the con.
Better than you'd think, but I didn't know the severity of it until I got home.
Oh.
Like, all the details weren't really there, just that she was in the ICU and then she wasn't. And then when I got home, basically, my dad called me and gave me, like, the specifics, and
Right.
those specifics were not very good.
Yeah.
So for about a week, my nerves were completely shot. Went haywire for a while there. Things seem to be getting a lot better, you know, by now, but and she's doing fine. But again, I needed to point out that that's why I wasn't on last episode, because this was right smack in the middle of all that shit.
Yeah.
And there was just no way it was gonna happen.
Right.
There was just so much bullshit going on. Put it this way, I got phone calls at all hours of the night from family members, like, that didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
It got around, and then I started getting panicky phone calls from other people, like, oh, what's going on? I think you get the point.
Yeah.
Right.
I did not sleep well for over a week.
Right.
I had something happen to me 2 days after the last podcast. I pulled a neck muscle.
Jeez.
See, that normally happens to me during headbanging concerts.
No, I was eating in the morning, and I felt, and I couldn't move for, like, that day. I had to go to, like, the local walk-in doctor and they gave me, like, a steroid drink.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Took a few days to, like, you know, heal and like, basically for me to move. But man, that one day I did just. The pain.
Did you just wake up and your neck was like rigor mortis? Like,
no. Here's the thing. I woke up fine, and it was when I was eating in the morning.
Huh?
I just
weird.
felt like I just anytime I tried to move to my neck to the right side, it just was like it would not move. And on
like a pinched nerve or something.
No, I pulled something from like 1 to 10. It was like a 9.
Okay.
Level.
Because normally when I have, like, neck pains where I can't hardly move it, it's because I slept on it funny. I rolled on it in my sleep and just kind of, you know.
And the thing is, I can't take. I can only take Tylenol. I can't take like ibuprofen or
acetaminophen or something like that.
Yeah, and nothing with aspirin, because you already know about that with the bleeding issue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Yeah. Things are pretty good now. Just so everybody knows. Everything's kind of winding back down and getting back to normal, and basically my nerves have started to stabilize, thankfully. I mean, it really is a bad thing to come home to,
Right.
because it's like, you as soon as you come back, you're already kind of bummed out because you're back, because it's over, and then you just get hit with something like that, and you start getting bombarded by phone calls and people freaking out, and yeah, it was not very fun.
Yeah, and then I also had last Monday a swollen lymph node
Ooh.
in the neck, but it went down a couple of days. So I get those sometimes.
Okay. As for anime, I or video games, really haven't touched them since I got back. I've been really had my hands full with other crap.
Understandable. Do we want to talk about? Should I talk about what I saw, or should we go to news or what now?
I did watch some stuff, so I can give some quick impressions.
Oh, well, we should go into the chat first.
Yes, we should indeed go into the chat. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to ntrradio.net and click the chat link. That'll bring you to the page with the chat box in it. Give yourself a nickname, hit the button, and join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively, take your favorite IRC client, connect to irc.ryzen.net, and join us in the #SLC media channel. In addition, you can get at us on Twitter at TEAnubis, at VZMK2, at Immortal_KGods, at NTR Radio, at NTR_radio, and as always, the email address to get involved with the show is ntrradio@gmail.com. So I actually sampled a whole bunch of this season's anime yesterday.
A lot of people have been kind of bragging about a lot of it too, actually.
Bragging about it.
Yeah, I mean, like bragging, basically saying that a lot of good stuff this season.
They've been big.
There's a few stuff that I'm liking, but you go on, Anubis.
So, let me actually bring up the thing here so I know what I watched.
Sure.
I know. I checked out.
Just as an aside, while you're doing that, I had Cracker Barrel today.
Hey. That's always a good time. Now I'm hungry.
It was. You're welcome. And it was as good as it sounded.
So I checked out how heavy are the dumbbells you lift.
Yeah, I keep seeing that. Yeah.
A good friend of mine actually recommended the manga to me earlier this year, and it's like as soon as I saw the announcement for the anime, I'm like, hey, that's on my watch list. So I watched the first episode of that. I enjoyed that. It's definitely something I'm gonna keep up on. I checked out.
Who doesn't love Dogakobo?
Seriously, they're an immensely talented studio.
I can think of a few, but none that I'm gonna mention here.
But it's fat shaming.
And they're all wrong.
And they're all fat. I mean, wait.
We can. I checked out. Do you love your mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks?
Okay, I saw the first episode.
Okay, is that the thing passing around where it looks like the chick's been splooged on?
Yes, that's the one. That's in the episode that I didn't watch.
Okay, it's not.
I only watched
the
first of that. I couldn't get into that one.
Okay, it does look like it though.
Yes, but despite the premise, I couldn't get into that one. But what did you think, Anubis?
I'm really liking it. Really.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I know one thing I'm gonna have to look at.
Well, so here's the thing. So the premise is the guy gets sucked into like the MMORPG world with his mom, and it goes about exactly as you think playing an MMORPG for the first time with your mom would go.
Her not knowing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
See, maybe I should check out more.
Yeah, except here's the twist is his mom's OP, so he can do like the blast wave with his sword, and it'll shoot down one bird. So she swings her sword once and everything dies.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't know exactly what she's doing, so it's got that dynamic of.
So basically, she's really overpowered, but she doesn't realize.
Yeah, she's OP, but she doesn't know anything about the game. So to her, like that's just normal. And she's also his mom, so she's acting like his mom.
I didn't want to leave the swords lonely because it was like
Yeah.
that part was funny. That I meant. Because no, what happens is the main guy takes the sword. The one, it's like there's 3 swords. He takes one, and then she takes the other 2 because she's like, I didn't want to have one be lonely.
Yeah. Will this be a new isekai trend here?
I don't know. Mostly
Being stuck in there with your sister or your mom or something.
I got sucked into the MMO and I became a loli.
Yeah. Or I don't know, cryptocurrency or something. I don't know.
Oh, so you're a walking Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Bitcoin.
Yes.
Listen.
Or, no. You're an otaku coin.
Oh.
Well, we got news on that in the news segment, so we can stay tuned on that.
That's foreshadowing, and I didn't even know that. So.
Oh wow. Anything else?
I watched the first episode of Are We Lost?
Oh, okay. That one I didn't.
Were they?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
okay.
The answer is yes.
They're on an island.
Yeah, 4 schoolgirls get stranded on a desert island after.
I don't know. All I did is I saw the trailer and
then what is like one of them the skipper and.
Well, like one of them's dad was like a Navy SEAL or Bear Grylls or something like that, so she knows all about survival.
Do they drink pee?
Almost.
I
know
kidding.
they eat bugs. I know they eat bugs.
Well, I was joking, so I did not expect you to actually say that.
And I'm like,
this season is becoming a little bit more interesting. Oh no. Anyway.
I know you checked out O Maidens.
I did check out O Maidens.
Yes. The surprise of the season for me.
I enjoyed what I saw, and I think it's one that I'm going to continue watching because I think the premise is very interesting.
My crotch is so itchy.
I checked out Wasteful Days of High School Girls, and that one's okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on it.
See, I felt the same way. I couldn't get into it as much.
I haven't heard anybody really going gaga for that one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really like just you've seen it. I hate using it, but it's like you've seen it before, type of show. You know.
In and of itself, not a transgression, but
you've seen these jokes before, and you see them done better in other things. So, did you check out Astra Lost in Space?
That's the one I still need to check out.
Okay. That one I'm liking too. That's like my 3rd place one right now because I'm only watching 3 from the season. Definitely. There's a sort of like, again, you know what it reminds me of? None of you have seen this anime movie. They Were 11.
I know what you're talking about. I've heard of it.
Me too.
I haven't seen it yet though.
Okay.
I know exactly what he's talking about because the first time I saw that, I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was referring to the Spinal Tap joke, our amps go to 11. But the other one was they were 11, and I was like, so what? They were in grade school?
You think it's good? It's like kiddie grade. You think it's going to be something completely different than what it actually ends up being?
Yeah.
No, but the reason is because
that's my number 1 for that, by the way.
But yeah, I remember when I remember hearing about They Were 11. I remember hearing about the premise, and I'm like, oh shit, because the whole premise is they're supposed to be on this space station or spaceship, and it's supposed to be 10 people, and it's kind of like Biosphere, where there's enough supplies for 10 people, but when they get there, there's already a person there.
Dun.
So it's like,
and one of them's, it's basically like one of them's like a mole, not a literal mole, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like figure out who's the one that's like. It's kind of like they're doing the same thing in this show.
Ah.
Okay.
Because it's like there's like a sort of sabotage thing, and it's like it could have only happened from here. So one of them's the one that caused it.
Right.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of myself. I still haven't finished Shield Hero, and it's been over.
I still haven't started Shield Hero, so you're further along than I am.
Yeah, but I don't think you have any interest in actually starting it, though.
No, I'm immensely interested in actually starting it. Are you kidding me? It sounds like a great show. I just haven't started on it yet. You know how I watch anime, which is to say I don't watch anime.
Which is to say 5 years later you finally see it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, by the way.
5 years later I finally see it, and then I rave about how awesome it is 5 years after everyone else has watched it.
2024, Anubis is like, did you guys ever see Erased?
Great Forrester.
I still haven't finished Erased either. So
Great Forrester in the chat.
I wasn't trying to target you really with that, but
I feel called out.
By the way, Great Forrester in the chat says Sword Art Online did the lowly in the MMO thing. Yeah, the one with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Not the side story thing.
Yeah, Gun Gale Online.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I actually was also rewatching everything of Evangelion.
Yeah, I mean, it becoming kind of into focus again.
Yeah, I even bought unfortunately it came on this Thursday. So it's kind of a mixed bag day. We'll get to that later. But I got an Ava 1 figure, the par form.
Champ.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really great, but I have one issue. It's like, you know when you buy one of those figures and there's like the plastic that you have to take off in between the joints?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a little bit in the neck area still, and I can't get it out, and I do not want to like pull the thing out because I'm so paranoid. I just don't want to.
I could just see you there like a toothpick, you know? Or like,
I've tried a whole bunch of things.
It should be fine if you just pull that off. As someone who
just a
owns
tiny
and sells
bit in
par
there.
farms, I think you should be fine if you just pull the head off.
But it's like one of those things, and then a little ball joint, and I do not want to break the ball joint that's on top. That's why.
I'm with you. I'm just saying. I think you'll
I get you.
If you're apprehensive, I get it. But I again, as someone who owns and sells par farms, I think you'll be fine if you pull that off.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you can't see it unless you open up, like, because the Ava one has that like.
You don't want to spill LCL all over yourself.
Yeah. It's very basic though in terms of accessories, but that's fine. It's actually
also
like
this isn't, not to say I told you so, but how much Ava talk have you guys seen in the past like week?
Well, I haven't been really looking.
But VZ, have you seen a whole lot of Ava talk in the past like week?
Oh, well, not this week, but certainly before.
Well, certainly before, because it was fresh in everyone's minds. But has it been about a month since Ava came out?
Sounds...
didn't I say like we'd be a month and it'd be going back to normal and everyone would stop freaking about Ava?
Well, hold that thought. They dropped because I told you I saw that 10-minute thing online of the first 10 minutes of the movie, and they also dropped the trailer for the fourth movie, and it's gonna come out June next year.
Well, yeah, I get that. I'm talking about the original Ava series, specifically the Netflix run.
No, but I guess
I saw one thing. I saw one thing, and that was Vice basically trying to make it out that Shinji's gay.
Of course, but I'm not saying I told you so, but I did call, and I don't remember if this was on the show or in some Discord server, but I did call that a month out, everything would go back to normal with regard to Ava. So I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I'm saying I have a pretty good track record. Because literally all I do is I do that thing where I stick my finger in my mouth and hold it up in the air to see the way the wind's blowing, and then I say the wind's blowing that way.
And then you tee off.
And then for some reason everyone tries to battle me on it, and then a month later when I'm right.
See, I always figured you did that more at a mini golf place or something. Just not now. You gotta see which way the wind's blowing, Gray Forrester.
So
I thought Shinji was trans. Yeah, there's that too.
Ew. Not ew to the trans thing, but ew. Why do we have to fucking have this conversation?
why do all characters have to be retrograde, some sort of like sexual minority or whatever? That's just. I mean, I know why it's happening. It's just annoying. You know, remember when they tried to do that with Samus and all that?
Yeah, I remember when they tried to do that with Samus, and then that entire talking point 100% died out.
It did, but
because there's nowhere to go from there.
Yeah, because the person basically said, "No, they're not." Sorry, your headmate might have told you something else, but anyway.
So yeah, that's what I watched, and still have Astro Lost in Space to go. Definitely continuing on some of these, dropping some others potentially to be picked up later. I'm definitely gonna continue on. I'm definitely gonna give a few more episodes to O Maidens in Your Savage Season. Definitely going to continue on How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift.
Yes.
There was a part. Are You Lost is easy because the episodes are half length. So
okay.
So
there's a part in the third episode of Dumbbell that just was really funny. It was like, basically way to sabotage yourself, and it was like
Well, she's been sabotaging herself since episode 1. Like she goes does the workout, and then the next shot is her eating a hot dog. I like how it shows how many calories all the things she's eating
like that
are.
too.
Oh, that's funny.
It's because she was basically doing this diet that was like, basically the same thing as like what would be a sumo diet, because she wasn't eating breakfast,
which is people.
she was doing at one like just one big meal in the day, and it was like, you can't do that. That's how you gain weight. That's what sumo's doing. They're just like, oh, and it's like you should do the bodybuild diet, and then you are allowed to cheat days. And then so what does she do? She immediately starts like this big meal with like eating 3 different dinner meals. It's like, I'm doing my cheat day.
Here's another good one from the chat. Niwa says, the worst hot take was some moron saying that Ava's about Trump.
I've read that, yeah.
That was pure clickbait.
I'm about a 50% on that article having actually been written ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't, like it was written before Ava even came out on Netflix, and they just put it out.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that
it's a bait and switch type thing.
I guarantee you that's not anybody's actual take on it.
No. I am glad. What?
No, basically, yeah, it's a bait and switch tactic. It makes you read it. You get the click. They get the revenue. Don't stop doing that.
I was glad I was able to track down, so I saved it. This 1996 article, which is the first thing I learned about Evangelion.
I think I saw you posted on your Twitter.
Yes,
yeah, I did see that.
It was from a magazine called Game Fan, and it was.
I remember Game Fan.
And they had
I don't know how, but I do.
They had 2-page spread about this thing called Evangelion. Interesting, some of the thoughts that they had at the, because they thought like that. Oh, the last battle is in episode 24, and then the episode 25 and 26 are the what goes on after. And they'll say, and then I hear there's coming out with a movie, and I'm just like, no, yeah, exactly. I'm like, no.
Rose-colored glasses, isn't it?
But my favorite takeaway was this show had mediocre ratings and was beaten out by freaking Wedding Peach, and I'm like, who in 2019? I have not seen anyone discuss Wedding Peach.
That's a fucking scoreboard if I ever seen one. It's like, it got beaten out by Wedding Peach in its original run. Scoreboard.
What show?
Yeah, by who? By what?
Netflix has what anime?
Yeah, it's like everyone talks about Ava today still. Before the Netflix thing.
I haven't heard the words Wedding Peach in a row in at least a decade.
I took a look at just the opening and such. It looks like such a derivative. I thought it was from the same creator, Sailor Moon. I kept thinking that, but it looks like one of those. Like how when the robot shows were popular and there were a whole bunch of these like Me Too, like Go Nagai style shows, but they weren't from
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's like the early 2000s when every other show was a mid-level harem romance comedy.
Right. Well, this seems like that for Sailor Moon. And it's like nobody's discussing it. Not in Japan,
Right.
not here.
The Wedding Peach fandom is few and far between.
There's no.
Put it this
We
way.
could probably fit them all in one room.
There's no nostalgia merchandise for it. Yeah.
No. You got to look at it like this. More people probably think you're talking about an actual wedding and fruit.
Yeah, more people are like parsing the words separately. Like, oh, you having peaches at your wedding? They don't actually know that's an anime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really particularly know anybody that eats peaches at a wedding, but okay. Guess it's better than trying to be an orange inside of an orange.
Yeah. Well, we got to know how that sounds.
Speaking of 2000 harems, I still need to one day watch Sister Princess one day.
Dude, Sister Princess is amazing. I actually need to get on a rewatch of that after I finish the 18 rewatches I'm already on.
Yeah, they have a they finally released all of it here. Because that was one that ADV back in the day only released like the original show, but now they have both seasons.
Okay.
So what else you been watching, if anything?
I haven't watched a damn thing other than all that anime. VZ, you. Oh no! I saw the first, and this was my girlfriend. I saw the first 3 episodes of Zombieland Saga.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dude, this show is fucking wild. So you know how with the isekai genre we've basically run out of ideas and now we're doing like the vending machine isekai and the mom isekai and all that?
Yes.
Right.
We're starting to reach that with idol anime.
Right.
The story of this show, the premise of this show is literally a guy wants to save his hometown, so he resurrects a bunch of dead girls and makes an idol group out of literal actual zombies.
All I heard about the show is that one of the characters is trans.
Yeah,
the lowly one.
There's a lot more to that show. It's actually really fucking amazing.
I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah,
then.
It's like the first performance is so the main girl gets resurrected as a zombie, but after you get resurrected as a zombie, you have to awaken before you're like intelligent.
So like they just like walk around kind of like duh, you know.
Yeah, so I think it's 6 of them, and 5 of them are walking around like actual zombies, and only one of them is cognizant. But they're at a death metal concert, so it's okay. So one of them picks up the microphone and just starts growling into it, and all of the rest of them are headbanging.
Interesting.
The perfect first performance for a zombie idol group is death metal. Sure, why not?
Okay.
And then there's a rap segment in the second episode. The show is fucking wild, and I don't know how I missed it the first time around.
Sounds like it.
I also watched a few episodes of Made in Abyss, and that I'm enjoying so far.
I know of that. That's the one. Yeah, the one girl with the glasses and the other
and the
thing.
robot boy.
Right.
And like the penis jokes or something. I don't know.
Yep. Excellent show.
And she was tied up in one episode.
Yeah, for like that. In the course of a montage, yeah, that shot is in there.
Okay, so do we want to kind of go on to the news yet, or?
VZ, you all set to head out in the news?
I will. Can I be right back and then I'll come back? 1 sec.
We'll tell you what. Actually, we'll jump into. This is actually perfect. We'll jump into the news. You do what you need to do, and we will continue from there. Let's news.
Let's news. Working to restore power.
Okay, so since you weren't here last time, K-Gods, what are your impressions on the Robotech, the Harmony Gold's devilish renewal of the Robotech Macross license?
Not happy about it.
And I must point out every time I point this out, the Tatsunoko's enabling of that paradigm.
Yeah, I am in no way, shape, or form happy about any of that.
This is it's upsetting. It's upsetting that that number one, the what was it, 2024 date that we were all looking forward to is going to be pushed back, and we no longer know when that license is going to expire, because the only way we got that original date was through court documents. Mm-hmm. And we also now don't know, not that we don't know, we also we're also not going to get these, there's no hope of getting these official releases of the Macross material anymore. And I mean, consistent kudos to Manga Entertainment for maintaining the Macross 2 and Macross Plus licenses. But other than that, Macross 7, Macross Frontier, Macross Delta, Macross Zero, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with those anymore.
It really is a bad time to be a Macross fan.
Oh, it's a horrible time to be a Macross fan.
Because there's so much bullshit. It's... goody.
I just... It's disappointing to me, chiefly that Tatsunoko is willing to renew that license, because it shows that they're extremely out of touch with what's going on among the Western fan base with regards to Macross. And it's upsetting that, again, a significant amount of my blame lies with Tatsunoko, because they had the choice to allow this property to fall into the hands of people who would respect the fans over here and the license, the IP, and they let it, that they just jumped it back into the hands of people who used that IP chiefly as a cudgel against the Battletech community for 2 decades, and did nothing else besides that with it.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty there.
Anyway, I do have another article standby.
Last thing I heard that they made was that thing that was CG with all the various Tatsunoko heroes, and it bombed or didn't do it just came and nobody talked about it after.
Figures.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Well, if Tatsunoko wants to put themselves back on the map, especially with the Western fan base, let the Macross license fall into the hands of someone who's gonna actually put out Macross over here, and not fucking pretend that it's you guys remember Robotech? Yeah, everyone remembers Robotech. Everyone remembers how you lied to us for 3 decades. Nobody's happy with you about it. Every time you fucking post something on your stupid Robotech Facebook group, you get dunked on by everyone. I saw the announcement on Twitter of the Macross license renewal. Everyone was dunking on Harmony Gold. Nobody likes Harmony Gold. Nobody wants to do business with Harmony Gold, except Tatsunoko, apparently. Nobody likes... There are 7 people who are still really into Macross, and none of them are gonna. Who are still really into Robotech. Excuse me. Who are still really into Robotech. All 7 of them. And
You're being generous.
They're all gonna be dead in like 20 years. So what are we doing?
Ouch. So you had an article?
I do have an article. This is actually this is cathartically hilarious for me. It's going out in the IRC right now. So this is an update, July 10th from. You guys remember Otaku Coin?
Oh,
yes.
Well, yeah, I just made fun of it.
So here goes. We have big news to share. IID Incorporated, which owns countless entertainment media, including the popular anime news site Anime. Never heard of this site ever before, by the way. Leading authority on anime news in Japan. Bitfire Blockchain Incorporated, which has its own blockchain node and is a corporate group of Bitfire Incorporated, the largest domestic exchange in Japan. And Tokyo Otaku Mode, which we all know about, which has over 220 million otaku fans worldwide, have partnered with the Otaku Coin Association to carry out a proof of concept for a new translation service for entertainment content made for fans using blockchain and token economies. Through the translation service, Otaku Coin holders and consumers will increase through fans receiving Han, which I believe is a cryptocurrency, for their translations which can be converted to Otaku Coin. In addition, the service provides a unique opportunity to widen the otaku market around the world and contribute to the development of token economies. We on the Otaku Coin Association aim to enliven the contents industry and otaku community around the world that loves Japanese pop culture, anime, manga, and video games. The feelings of fans aren't bound by natural borders, and it continues on. Basically what they're saying is they're going to create a new service that will allow fan translators to translate anime and whatnot and receive particular cryptocurrencies as payment for that service. Now, people who are big on history, and especially business history, might remember a time in the US, and this still goes on in some places around the world, where you worked for a company and you worked for a company, you stayed in the company dormitory, you shopped at the company shop, and you're paid in company currency. You're not actually paid in like your nation's legal tender. And this is bringing me back to some of those history lessons where
Yes.
you're doing a legitimate service, but you're not being paid in money. You're being paid in this made up money. And once again, I've said this before on the show, a lot of these cryptocurrencies are created by companies as a way to raise money, and they're not really designed to appreciate in value. Now, I don't know a lot about Han, and I know a little bit more about Otaku Coin, but not a whole lot more. But from what I've been reading about Otaku Coin especially, there's nothing as far as its mission goes that differentiates it from real world currency, except the fact that it is not real world currency.
I was just saying, except the fact that it's not.
Exactly. So it, like, as far as supporting the anime industry goes, we already have something to do that is called real money. So, and as far as compensating
it's called yen.
Yeah, exactly. As far as compensating translators for their services, we already have something to do that. It's called real money. But people don't want to give
and sexual favors.
Well,
I'm not saying it's happening, but you never know.
I'm not touching that. So we could pay these people in money, but because presumably, as far as my anticipation, we're trying to push these cryptocurrencies because that's going to be good for our company, and our company in particular. So because we're trying to do that, we're going to instead pay them in fake money. We're going to pay them in monopoly money that can be used in our monopoly exchange.
Which would be funny if they actually really did that.
You're probably never gonna be able to afford Boardwalk, particularly because
NTR coin.
Well, particularly because
but somebody always steals it from you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're mining your NTR coins.
So you're probably never going to be able to afford Boardwalk because the value of this currency.
Boardwalk, you'll be lucky if you get Atlantic, buddy.
So
Vermont Avenue.
So yeah, so that's going on. This is cathartically amusing for me to watch this enterprise just continuously do very obvious scam activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yet continue trying to portray themselves as legitimate.
Right.
So we do have a last bit of news, very important, before we roll into the break. July 18th in Japan, an arsonist set fire to Kyoto Animation's Studio One. Burned the entire studio down. Quite a few people are dead.
It's really bad. I believe last time I checked was at least 34.
30, and then another 34 injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's people missing.
There's certain names that we don't know if they were there or not, or that they were.
Yeah, names are still being compiled. The people are still being counted.
We're not going to come out here and talk about any of people are missing specific people.
Yeah, the information is still up in the air.
Yeah, no speculating, only what's been stated.
Yeah, we have no interest in speculation. Basically the entire anime industry and community and subculture on both sides of the Atlantic both sides of the Pacific is grieving.
Yeah, a pretty nasty sucker punch, really.
Yeah.
Outside of the obvious things, and they've caught the guy already. We should mention that.
Yeah, they caught the guy. They caught the guy. They arrested him.
He was a 41-year-old guy named Shinji something or other.
Shinji Aoba.
Okay. Aoba or whatever.
Yeah.
Aoba. Yeah.
The motive is still up in the air.
I mean, there's a lot of rumors and stuff being tossed around, but
yeah, the last I heard is that. Again, he said something about that they stole his novel or something. Again,
something about him being a train otaku. A lot of stuff.
Well, that was something else. That was a coincidence with someone else, I think. But again, we don't want to say anything because
that's why I'm saying the motive is still up in the air. A lot of the information surrounding this is still way up in the air.
Sketchy at very least.
Yeah, I think right now he's in a coma because he is in the hospital.
Yeah, he was injured in the attack.
Mm-hmm. So that's been going on, and the best and the worst of the anime community are showing up. And obviously, the best, we mean people are starting funds and campaigns and all that.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that the Western news has at least I've seen this on ABC World News. I've seen this on Inside Edition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that the Western side of our media has paid attention. Of course, there's certain
outlets who have definitely used this story basically to promote their own bullshit.
Yes,
but
on some level, on another level, they consulted. I know for a fact that they consulted people who have particular agendas. So they probably don't know a goddamn thing about anime. This particular outlet that I'm talking about.
I was actually referring to a few.
Well, I know about one. They probably don't know a goddamn thing about anime. They consulted someone who also really doesn't know a whole hell of a lot about anime due to having lived for decades in an academic bubble. So there's part of that people are vilifying the news outlet when really they should be vilifying the person they consulted. But that's beside.
But nobody knows who they are, so
nobody's heard from this person. This person hasn't been relevant in at least a decade.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to read their book in art school.
So anyway, though, here's what I mean. But like, you've got other animation studios and stuff, basically, kind of, commenting. You've got other, like animators and voice actresses and stuff, kind of throwing their 2 cents in.
Yeah. The author of Hyoka wrote a thing too.
Yeah, a lot of people are coming out for a lot of people are coming out in support.
Well, put it this way: Sentai Filmworks put up a GoFundMe, and it cost $1 million in under 24 hours.
Yeah, when their goal was 750,000, and it's still rising.
Aki Toyosaki had a video where she said stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Currently, get that. Sentai Filmers GoFundMe is at $1,881,000 and rising.
Right, and again, this is just like what 3 days later.
Yes, 3 days. 3 days later.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. So we're not saying you should, but we're saying if you want to, that's one option.
It's available. There's also people have also been recommending purchasing digital artwork from Kyoto Animation's online store, and there's instructions for that on Twitter if you can find them.
Right. In fact, after the show's over, we might go ahead and try to find some of the links and pop them up.
I actually think I can find the instructions here right now. Stand by 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So, again, a lot of... and as usual, a bunch of trolls and dipshits come out. But I'm not going to give them any more air than they deserve. But obviously, anytime something like this happens, there's always, some dipshits that, come out here like, honk, honk, it's kind of shit. But
I've just this weekend I've been processing the whole thing in my mind. I think a lot of people are sort of like, again, it's like the last thing you would have thought would have happened to a place like this.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of odd because it's not like, when crimes happen in Japan, they usually don't really seem to be petty ones. They usually seem to be these sort of bigger and like larger than life crazy kind of things that end up happening, especially true with like murders or anything Yakuza are involved or something like that.
Yeah, by the way, this is like the highest mass murder
in a while.
This is the deadliest crime to happen in Japan since World War II ended.
Oh, even more so than the sarin gas attack.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was only 12.
Okay, yeah, and that was in what, 95?
95.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. I thought it was somewhere around there. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's really bad. I mean there's. It's unfortunate because there's not a whole lot you can do beyond offer like some sort of economic aid.
Yeah, I drew something the day of. By the way, I don't know.
I mean that's more moral support, I guess. I
will post. In fact, I will post in my. I guess I'll do my.
And then of course, you had Yamakan being a complete cockhead.
Well, half and half. I will say, because I did see a video of him crying. So how
considering his previous statements toward people who were grieving about the attack, there's
perfectly okay calling him a dickhead.
There's little part of me that has any sympathy for him at this point.
No.
Going up in the
Especially-
IRC right now are the instructions for purchasing from the Q Ani shop.
Okay. So, I mean, first off, his response to Makoto Shinkai was pretty douchey.
Yeah, and that's primarily why I'm not on board with saying, he's being genuine. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, for those who don't know, he had a spot there at one point.
Yes.
Short-lived. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. Four episodes into Lucky Star.
And you know what? I like those episodes.
Me too. But he was basically fired before like the airing of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're.
Well, this is a guy that his own basically committee kicked him out, right?
Yeah, the
that
company
was
he
his
started
second.
kicked him out.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty bad.
Which, by the way, yeah, since he has that movie coming out, nobody's gonna support him now. I think
Yeah.
No.
not at all. It'll be
He's
ghost
been
town in
he's
the-
been undone for a while. But that
But hey, at least he's not making Moe, right?
don't even get me started.
Yes.
The aftermath, the wake of this attack has brought out a lot of the best and a lot of the worst of the anime fandom. And what I think is worth praising is that the people who choose now to bring out the hot takes are getting universally reviled for that. Like nobody likes that anyone's taken this tragedy as an opportunity to push their cartoon preferences
or political bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I've seen some of it. I've purposefully been kind of avoiding social media a little more lately because of it, because it gets tiring.
It can get overwhelming. I actually saw in the wake of this, I saw basically a screenshot from a Japanese news broadcast, and even them on the news were saying, "Hey, if the news of this tragedy is hard on you, if it's taking a toll on your mental health, don't feel bad about
Obligated to
the
keep
news."
watching it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I kind of wish
we would never say that in our media.
Yeah, I kind of fucking wish our news media would say that to people, because people desperately need that over here. But
Go outside once in a while.
I will say, I don't know if it would help. Probably not, but at least it's a way to keeping, as a way of saying, I love your work. Let me have, something of theirs to add to the collection. So I bought A Silent Voice on Blu-ray.
yeah, I have been hearing a lot of people are showing their support by buying their releases as well.
Yeah,
Which-
and Japanese releases. Oh, by the way, I saw a screenshot of Amazon
Japan.
Yeah, Amazon Japan, and it's just of the stuff that was trending. So it was almost all Kiyoani.
I can believe that.
Yeah. By the way, the top one was Liz and the Bluebird. So, yeah. The other thing to report is that, and this is the other unfortunate thing, is that they lost all their materials now, that their drawings and computers.
Well, yeah, everything that was in that office building is compromised now.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing. I don't know if that means the masters to these things. But the other thing that came to my mind earlier, and basically it's one of the few things I'm saying to myself. Let's say one of the worst, they lost their masters. I think as a gesture of goodwill, they're saying thank you for letting us partner with you and all that and release the stuff. I think it would be nice if companies like Sentai and Funimation
sent them back.
Yeah, a copy of their masters back to them.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that's crossed their mind.
There's no part of me that doesn't think that any company, even listen, I have my differences with Funimation, but I don't think that they would like say, no, you can't have your masters back after your studio got burned down by an arsonist. I don't think they're that heartless. I just think that they don't give a fuck about their fans.
Not only that, but if they did, people would fucking not only dislike them, but they would chew them out.
Oh yeah.
Because that would just make you look like a bunch of assholes.
Exactly. They would lose whatever consumer goodwill they still had.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of information that's kind of fuzzy right now.
Yeah, the thing is, it's still so new and they're still processing. We won't know.
It's still a developing situation.
We won't know for a week, at least, the list of victims.
Right, but the guy did basically, the president, CEO, basically did say that they're thinking about bulldozing the rest of the building and making a memorial there into like a park or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that'd be the right thing to do.
I got no problems with that.
Me too. I hope that, again, one of the things besides security measures is better fire escape implementation.
Yeah, I think that would have saved a lot of lives.
Especially in a place where you're going to have a lot of paper and such.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or any kind of electrical fire hazards or anything like that.
That too. And
I mean, because let's be real here, those are harder to put out even.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as hard as this is, I'm all trying to just, live our normal lives with, because it's like nothing we can...
Yeah, I mean, there's
nothing we can...
not a whole lot.
Like the Japanese news media said, if it's affecting you negatively, don't make a big deal out of avoiding news about the tragedy.
I will say this:
there's no obligation to be 100% on top of every development. Number one, because you're gonna get a lot of misinformation that way anyway,
right.
And number two, because it's going to cause you to spin out a lot more than just continuing on, wait and see, and as big things come out, you hear about them on the wayside.
Right. So basically, I mean, if you want to help, there's numerous avenues for you to take.
Yes, indeed.
If you want them.
The Sentai Filmworks GoFundMe is there. The KyoAni shop is there. There's the instructions to navigate that.
If you're not exactly familiar with moon runes.
Yes, indeed.
I think in the future, one more thing, I think in the future, if not by next, by next episode, I think we should just do I know we did a retrospective on KyoAni and other...
Well, we'll discuss this off air.
Yeah, because that's a logistical problem. We can discuss that amongst ourselves.
But...
I guess, but I was hoping for something we could share more of our feelings rather than just their works. But we'll discuss that after.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, yeah, one thing I have seen in the coming days is that a lot of people have been rewatching a lot of their stuff.
Yes, that's another thing I've seen.
I mean, people have been basically watching K-On! Or Haruhi or anything like that.
Yep.
Air. Even Maid Dragon of all things.
Yep.
Magi Brilliant Park. I know my buddy was watching that.
Yeah, and that was the one that a lot of people were like, "What are you doing, KyoAni?" At the time.
Yeah.
Magi Brilliant Park. Magi Brilliant Park was amazing.
No, I meant Myriad Colors Phantom World.
Oh, Phantom World. Yeah, that show was good too.
I thought it was just okay. It didn't really do much for me. But
it was an okay premise, but made better by the production values of KyoAni.
Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Another studio doing that same premise would have resulted in not as good a show.
Oh,
which isn't to shit on the other studios, but KyoAni is just that good.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of people sort of looking back and kind of reassessing the stuff they like from there. Again, there's a couple people out there kind of throwing around the idea of having some sort of film festival type thing.
That sounds nice.
To have some sort of, like, the proceeds go to help.
Yeah, I would be on board with that.
I hope that the other aspect is that this doesn't kill Kiwani, even if they have to take a long break.
This isn't going to kill Kiwani.
I don't think it will.
There's no way.
I mean, yeah, because everyone's showing their support, and I'm hoping that even if they have to take a long break, that they'll come back and
they'll be
stronger.
Back. Yeah, they're not going to let this.
No,
they're not going to let this.
They had a lot of rising stars kind of coming out of there.
Yeah.
And plus, like, just purely logistically, that wasn't their only studio. I'm sure that they, not to sound callous, because that it's not my, it's not what it looks like I'm saying isn't what I'm saying, but they can buy another building. I guarantee you that they can afford to buy another building.
Yeah. It's not the buying the building, because they could get a building. It's
the content.
What I'm saying though is, logistically, they're going to be fine.
I'm just worried about the morale. The morale of the studio.
The thing is, that it's the morale and it's the talent. And
the more.
Kiwani can attract talent, especially realistically, especially after this tragedy. People are gonna like.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
How can I help? How can I help? Can I come with you guys?
From what I know about how the anime system kind of works, and by that I mean the kind of interlockings of all this stuff. Even though the other companies are sort of rivals, they're not really.
Yeah. There's like
there's a much more collaborative spirit with this stuff.
You'll see
people from other places showing up in other stuff.
Yeah.
Like you'll even see like a little, like, you'll be watching something and the screen will roll up and you'll be looking at that thing. Yeah, exactly. You'll see like a small like chunk of Gainax worked on this or something like that.
The studios are basically only in competition as far as I understand.
In a friendly sense.
One of the studios are only basically in competition when they're like bidding to get hired by a production committee as like the primary studio for a given work. And
right. And again,
but
more like a friendly sense.
Yeah, like past that, they're gonna subcontract to each other. They're like people might leave one studio and go to another. It's more of an amicable competition than it really is cutthroat. They're not trying to ruin each other.
No, it's far less. There's nowhere near as much like contracted. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff like there is here.
One more thing I want to add. Unless you have. This is another scary thought. Probably not, but it's just something in the back of my mind. Really unlikely, especially in Japan. But I really hope that there aren't copycat.
Yeah, I actually, I don't think there will be. If nothing else, I think security will be a lot tighter around these places now.
I guarantee you that.
Kind of like airports after 9/11, you couldn't do shit.
Yeah, I guarantee you that.
You couldn't fart without somebody looking at you weird.
Other studios are going to be on the lookout from now on until basically ever, because of the severity of this particular
of what
problem.
happened. Yeah.
I also hope that there's some sort of because next year's the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's a sort of like
heightened security.
Sort of,
just in general.
Well, just not just that, but a sort of let's take the time to remember this thing. Like,
it might happen, but I wouldn't count on it. But I mean, I guess it might happen, but
I don't think anyone's gonna forget about this just because of the Olympics.
No.
Like this is that significant an event that I think the community and the industry and whatnot are going to be reeling from this in many ways for quite a while. Like it's not gonna be this raw forever, but we're gonna be seeing the effects of this for quite a while. I anticipate.
One other thing, since you mentioned the Olympics again, I just kind of wanted to throw this in there. I actually probably will watch part of it just to see some of the stuff they're gonna trot out.
You know what? Me too. I'm actually.
I usually don't. I'm not really that guy.
Neither do I.
Y'all
I
are
did
on
see a
your own.
tiny bit of the Korean one.
I mean, sometimes there can be interesting stuff, like, I don't know, watch synchronized diving or something. I don't know.
Y'all are on your own. I don't give a fuck about the Olympics, quite frankly.
Are we gonna have the I don't know, the jousting of the maids?
Maid jousting. We can do like that one artist on Twitter and have maid skateboarding.
Maid skateboarding.
But you know how bad that idea is if you're wearing those kind of long dresses.
That's the point.
I mean, it's just gonna get caught under your wheels at some point. Anyway, we're up against the break, but before we go to the break, just out of respect for the victims of the Kiwani attack, we're gonna have a moment of silence for the people who perished in the fire. You're listening to NTR Radio. We're up against the break. Keep it right here.
らないしつけさを取り戻すまで空に映ったいくつもの影自分自身に浸かるまで永遠は夜は終わらない誰もが思い抱いたまま光る声に握りしめた手で掴みかけた夢をかざそう眠らない街が眠れないシュートのいつに包まれた微笑む女神で招きしてる壊れかけたドアの向こう
夢はやりかけのジグゾー今は形さえ見えないいくつも迷いいくつも傷ついて輝く明日を待ってる果てしないこの空に両手広げ感じてる胸にあふれるエナジージャケットをなびかせて走り出そう心翼にきっと繰り返す毎日同じものなんてないはず交差点から日の当たる坂道すべてが予感をくれるのこの胸にレボリューション街の中でありのまま感じ始めた沈む真っ白いキャンパスを染めてゆこう夢の絵の具浮かべて
Welcome back to NTR Radio. So we're basically doing the double con report this time around.
Anubis wants to go first,
Yes.
even though chronologically that's not really how it happened. But
Yeah, I'm a time
okay,
before, so I can do whatever I want with time. So
that's true.
I was at Connecticon 2019. This happens,
In 2019,
yes, from July 12th to the 14th. Hartford Convention Center, Hartford, Connecticut. So this entire con experience was kind of through the looking glass. So I'm driving up to, not to get to the convention, but to pick up my girlfriend from the airport, then to get to the convention.
right?
First of
So
all-
you're basically doing the kind of like loop around, grab, and keep going.
Bingo. So there was an issue with the flight scheduling and layovers and whatnot, which caused basically I had to wait.
American Airlines.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
what's that? Air travel is super finicky and has problems all the time. Say it ain't so. So
Yeah,
that-
but they're notorious for having some problems with that. Kind
yeah.
of
So
stuff.
that caused me to basically an hour wait at the airport, which wasn't too bad. But then that whole thing happened, went down to the convention. Well, went down to the hotel. So Hartford, Connecticut it's a big business city. A lot of, I think, banking, insurance, and it's also the seat of the government, so there's a lot of public sector stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
was there like any like roadblocks kind of stuff going on, like where you had like this area is off limits to the public because there's work going on here?
Well, apparently there was a lot of construction going on that I completely managed to avoid. Probably because I was coming from a different route. Instead of like coming straight into the convention center, I was coming from the airport to the convention center area.
Mm-hmm.
But so because it's a business city, there's a lot of stuff going on in that respect. One of the hotels near the convention center is actually like, it's more of a business hotel than your regular ass hotel you might see around a convention center.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the place I stayed in last time I was at Connecticon, back in about around 2016.
Okay.
Dude, these hotel rooms are ballin'. You walk in,
Okay.
look to your left, there is a full refrigerator, a stovetop, a fucking dishwasher. Now, don't ask me who's staying in a hotel that would necessitate using the dish. We did use that dishwasher, by the way. So, but I don't know who's out here using dishwashers in a hotel room, but we had that. The room was massive. It had a bedroom in it that was the size of a regular hotel room. It's basically an apartment.
Wow.
So that's where we were staying. 'Cause I was expecting actually quite a few more people than we had in the hotel room.
So it was more spacious.
It was a lot more spacious because there were only 3 of us in that huge ass room.
Interesting.
It was me and my girlfriend and the Geeky Panda. We were expecting my friend Gavin and the 2 people he was bringing along, but they actually couldn't make it this year.
Was it like a last minute thing, or did you know they weren't coming?
It was a last minute thing. Like, I found out because I texted him. I
happens,
texted him like, "Yo, you lot in Hartford?" And he's like, "Nah, man, I couldn't make it." And I'm like, "Damn."
Well, that's not as bad as last year when I was supposed to meet you up at New
And
York.
that just straight up didn't happen.
And, like, I'm literally 5 minutes away from boarding the plane, and then I get a text saying this flight is canceled.
Oops.
I'm like, are you fucking serious?
So yeah,
JFK is just like, nope.
We settled in, went down to get our badges. The area runs a shuttle service while conventions are going on, and that it just goes around to all the regional hotels. And quite frankly, the hotel's within reasonable walking distance, but the shuttle is just so convenient, and also was fucking hot, and I was wearing a flight suit and a flight helmet and a respirator. So there's no scenario in which I'm walking to that convention center. So yeah, we hit up the thing. We actually got our badges before we even settled into the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did that process go? I'm always interested.
That process was quick and painless for me, and Homegirl was not for the Panda, which he told me after the fact. Apparently, he rolled up to the the special badge pickup place because he was press. So he rolls up there. Number one, there were normal people in that line for some reason. And then number 2, he got to the head of the line and got it. He had his ID, he had his business card, and they were asking for a QR code that neither he nor I were emailed, but somehow Homegirl had been emailed that QR code. So I don't know what was going on there logistically, and apparently it was for some reason it was kind of a hassle to just look him up based on his identity, which he had the credentials for. But
this is an ordeal.
Yeah, that there were, I noticed numerous organizational mishaps going on, like, and they were like small and kind of background. You had to be paying attention to notice them, but there were some organizational mishaps that I did notice throughout the convention. But yeah, for me and Homegirl, the badge pickup process was fine. They kept the line moving. Everything was nice and efficient. But yeah, we did that. We got settled into the hotel for day 0. Got up early on day 1. Went out, and the first thing we hit was the video game room.
Oh, okay.
Now, I was under the impression, based on reports from my friend who couldn't make it from last year's Connecticon, that they had Cyber Troopers Virtual On, or some it was either Virtual On or Virtual On Oratorio Tangram. Either way, it's my favorite video game of all time. They had that there as an arcade cabinet last year. I know that for a fact because multiple people have basically rubbed that in my face. So, we roll up into the video game room, and apparently they heard I was coming because there was no Virtual On to be seen at all. So I was low level disappointed, but they actually had a really impressive video game room otherwise. Like they had some pretty impressive a lot of real like Astro City cabinets, a couple Versus City cabinets, like actual Japanese arcade cabinets, whole lot of rhythm games going on.
Right. There's always a DDR or something somewhere.
Multiple versions of DDR. They had the taiko drum thing. We played a little bit of that. They had Initial D, of course. They had all the fighting games except Virtua Fighter. They had the Street Fighter.
But I'm sure they had Tekken.
Yes, they had Tekken. You don't need to remind me that they had Tekken. I'm abundantly aware that they had Tekken and didn't have Virtua Fighter. Didn't have Dead or Alive either. So they had the Street Fighter and all that. They had the Time Crisis. And
those are always great.
Here's the thing I noticed about the Time Crisis, and I told Homegirl this while we were walking by, like kind of like get close and whisper in the ear because I don't want people to hear me shitting on them. Not a single person playing that Time Crisis game knows how to hold a gun properly.
Oh, well, that surprises you?
Yes, because it's very intuitive. Has nobody ever seen a movie of people holding a gun and
No, they just saw rap videos.
So I'm like, well, if you're wondering why you're doing so badly at the game, maybe it has something. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that the way you're gripping the gun allows it to just flail all over the place like a morning star.
Yeah.
So we did some of that. There was the Silent Scope Bone Eater. So do either of you know what Silent Scope is?
It sounds familiar, and I can't place it.
This is some shit that only I ever get excited about. This is one of those light gun arcade games, except instead of having like a pistol, or in the case of Ghost Squad, a submachine gun,
a scope gun.
You have a sniper rifle.
Oh, with the scope.
Scope, and the scope is like a little screen that's showing you a zoomed in version of whatever's going on the actual main screen.
Okay.
So yeah,
I can visualize what you're actually pointing out.
That's always a good time. They bring that to every Anime Boston as well. I always have to get in a round or two because that's just such a purely exciting game to play. So they did that. They had a whole bunch of consoles going on.
Mm-hmm. As they usually do in those.
Yeah. So they had all the PS4s and the Xbox Ones and all that.
Usually got like tournament shit going on.
Yep. They had a whole bunch of tournaments, a whole bunch of fighting game tournaments that I did not participate in because it wasn't Virtua Fighter.
Okay.
Not even that good at Virtua Fighter. I don't know why I'm saying that. They had a whole bunch of Smash going on as well. They also had going on in like kind of adjacent to the game room. They had a whole bunch of basically indie game developers, like indie PC games, indie tabletop games, and they had all their booths set up for like showcasing their games, which I thought was I think that's a really creative thing to do. It's something I've not seen at any other convention. They had that going on. That's also where they had all the tables for the guests. So that was going on in there as well. Other than that, a lot of what we did Friday was walk around and kill time until the dealer room opened. And so now, one thing that should be explained about Connecticon is that more so than being like a general purpose anime convention, it's an Omnicon. It's a little bit of everything, anime being one of the things it is. So the dealer room is very diverse as far as product selection goes. I did notice that there were quite a few anime specific vendors this year. As stuff, people selling anime figures, a few selling DVDs and whatnot. And that was all going on. We basically walked around because it's day one. You get the lay of the land at the dealer room and buy anything that's buy on site, which I didn't see anything.
There's usually like at least one impulse buy or something like, oh, gotta have that.
There usually is, but I went really light on the dealer room this year.
Me too, just as foreshadowing.
So might as well showcase what I got. I picked up 2 DVDs, only 2.
Okay.
The ADV release of Martian's successor Nadesco, Prince of Darkness. So I finally closed the loop on my second favorite anime of all time. And then I also picked up She the Ultimate Weapon.
Oh, okay, I remember that one. I haven't seen that in forever.
So...
Who has that anyway now?
Sentai Filmworks.
Okay.
Oh, is that the one Zach hated?
You're gonna have to be way more specific.
Is that the one? Is that the one that was Gonzo? Is that the one with Gonzo? Yeah. Oh, Saikano. Yes.
The other Saikano.
Yeah. That's it. Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, and it was Gonzo that animated that.
So yeah, we did that. We did catch a few panels on Friday. We hit up Otakuing in Japan, or How to Otaku in Japan. That was put on by Ruben Langdon, who did some work on several Power Rangers series, did some voice and motion capture for Devil May Cry, as well as we saw in that panel, starred in a whole lot of Japanese commercials. And he was going over basically a lot of the otaku-centric areas that are there in Japan. And what sets this apart from a lot of other panels I've been to is a whole lot of this is information I was not aware of. Like there's the Poop Museum.
What?
I'm sure. Fucking Poop Museum. Oh jeez.
I like because here's the thing about that. All I have to say is there's the Poop Museum, and both of you are cracking up.
Well,
Is this your effed up hentai panel?
No, unfortunately, This is not the effed up hentai panel. But yeah, so we mentioned Akihabara, we mentioned Ikebukuro, all that. So that was a very informative panel. It turns out love hotels are actually a very cost-effective way to stay in Japan. You just have to be, discreet about it.
Interesting.
We also hit up Break the World Shell, Apocalypse and Anime, which was talking about the concept of apocalypse fiction, where that comes from, what its what it's meant to symbolize and how it manifests in throughout various anime. So Evangelion's mentioned, Akira's mentioned, She the Ultimate Weapon is mentioned. And we also hit up the idols of anime, which was just all about idol anime and the history of idol anime, going all the way back to like the 70s.
Okay, this is something I would have loved.
Yeah, so we all through basically a breakdown of idol anime throughout the decades, all the way up to the idol boom we're in now, and this is where both me and Homegirl heard about Zombieland Saga, and this is one I've heard about before, but this reinforced the fact that I need to watch the show's AKB 0048.
Oh.
So we hit up those panels on Friday. Saturday we also got a couple panels, and a lot of the time Saturday was also dealer room time. That's where I picked up both of the DVDs I got. Panels we hit up behind the game, building a character, and that was a whole bunch of the people who worked with Devil May Cry talking about how they had to get in character for their roles and what was involved with that.
Right. And
also hit up an interesting panel, understanding how guns work and their history.
Interesting. That's kind of almost an outlier for a con like that.
Oh, what thing about Connecticon is it's an Omnicon. Now, this was a very good panel. I'm obviously very interested in the subject matter. The person who gave the panel was very knowledgeable. As far as panels go for Connecticon, I'm mid-level salty because I submitted for as a matter of fact, it was the Panda and I submitted 4 perfectly good panels to this joyous little convention called Connecticon. And never heard back about any of the 4, regardless of the fact that they were all excellent premises, very original ideas for panels, and all of them were it's stuff that's in vogue right now. So we had Skies Unknown and Ace Combat panel. Ace Combat 7 just came out this past January. If I'm not mistaken, it's the most successful game in that franchise since Ace Combat 4, and that was in the PlayStation 2 era. It's a huge sensation. People are clamoring for it. It's revitalized the Ace Combat community and grown it exponentially. The United States Air Force actually did a Twitch stream with an Air Force general and his son, who's a lieutenant, and they both played the game. It's a phenomenon, a sensation. Never heard back from Connecticon about that panel. We submitted Get in the Darn Robot Player 1, the greatest mecha of gaming. Because we always hear about mecha in anime. And you never quite hear about mecha in video games. So we decided, because there's a lot of neglect for mecha in video games. And we submitted that panel, never heard back from it. We submitted the revolving door of content creation, because you guys know this. There have been several, just in the anime podcast space, there have been several anime podcasts that have come and gone during our run since 2012.
Oh, for sure.
Where we've been almost 100% continuous since. We've only taken one voluntary hiatus from 2012 until now. So, and the Panda's been in the gaming YouTube space for longer than that. So both of us have seen content creators come and gone, and both of us know a thing or two about longevity. So we thought that would be an extremely valuable panel to submit to Connecticon's creative people, so they might learn a thing or two. Never heard back about that panel either. We submitted a panel about anime figure collecting, because I run an anime figure business. I know a thing or two about figure collecting. Panda's just getting into figure collecting, so he has that perspective. And it's something
his
you
wallet
don't.
is screaming.
Well, I'm the guy supplying him with anime figures, so I have some.
He's the deal.
About
He's
that.
he's the dealer.
And you don't really see a whole lot of panels about the ins and outs of anime figure collecting. So we thought that would be valuable, especially given the fact that this year there were a lot of people out there in the dealer room selling some anime figures. Never heard back about that panel. So all 4 panels, didn't hear back from them. I've given up on submitting the effed up hentai panel from them because they took that panel once. It filled the room. It was a smashing success, and they never accepted it again. So I've given up on that. And yeah, they apparently don't want panels from Time Enforcer Anubis, the guy who gives great panels.
Well, there you go. Connecticon. Yeah, it's not Time Enforcer. It's not time for Time Enforcer Anubis.
So yeah, that's my little sauce about Connecticon. But otherwise, it was a pretty chill convention. I think their attendance dipped slightly between this year and last, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Cosplay was on point. There was some pretty impressive cosplay. I actually saw the character is Yuri Otani from Alien 9.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've never seen that, but I know of it.
Yeah. So,
I remember it.
So it was that. I was cosplaying as Trigger from Ace Combat 7, and there was. I actually saw 2 other Ace Combat cosplayers at that convention, which is 2 more than I usually see at any of these conventions. So that was impressive to see. But altogether, it was enjoyable. It was a nice, relaxing time. I'm glad it realistically. And this is not to say anything about it, but quite frankly, I'm just happy that I got to take a fucking week off and spend some time with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I understand. Right. I mean, it's always best when you're going with your friends and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so.
and we saw a lot of people that, like, a lot of my friends were there. Like, a ton of my friends were there. Went out to eat, had some good food.
So that's actually part of the experience too, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
It always has been for me, and when we segue into mine, I'll explain more.
But the most important question is about that hotel you're at.
The hotel.
Were there any maids?
No.
Well,
no.
Opportunity.
There were maids, but they were like hotel maids, like modern day hotel maids. We're not in Japan.
Venezuela. No.
Maids.
The hotel was like free breakfast, and it's actual fucking breakfast.
And they got
like they had like eggs and sausage and like actual cooked things.
And they got to say, "Welcome home, master."
Yes. So, okay. So was yours just a 3-day?
Yes, just a 3-day.
Okay.
Sunday was very chill. We walked around. It's
always the wind down day.
Yeah, exactly. Barely really did anything. Decided to just head home early because there wasn't much going on Sunday.
All right. So I mean, overall, you said it was a pretty chill con.
Pretty chill con.
Okay.
And the only 2 things you got were the DVDs, right?
Bingo.
Okay, I bought more than that, but I'll get to it. So, do you want to switch it over, or you got more to talk?
Let's segue into A-Kon, the convention, not the rapper.
Yes. Okay. Ooh. Okay, this was a 4-day one. So, we got there the day before. It was from the 20th to the 1st. Or rather, we were there from the 26th to the 1st. That it was in between those 2 days. We went before and left after.
Right.
Okay. So, okay, where to start? Okay, so I get the Texas, okay? And the flight there was fantastic. No problem. It was American. Surprisingly, there wasn't a problem. But there was a problem after we got there.
Uh-oh.
They sent me to the wrong baggage pickup.
Oh.
They directly sent me to to the wrong baggage claim.
You know, there's a part of me that just never wants to fly with checked baggage.
I didn't have a choice. It was one of those things where they basically at the last, because I ended up getting stuck in group 9, which is basically the last boarding group, and I had no overhead compartment.
You know, this is another reason why I just want to fucking get my pilot's license and just fuck it. Don't put me on. Yes, I realize that it's gonna be faster. Don't put me on your fucking jet airliner with all the rest of the rabble. I'll get there myself.
Okay,
Sick
so
and tired of this
anyway,
shit.
so
I've
yeah,
only flown like once, and I'm already tired of it.
the great part about that is where my baggage actually went, they were already waiting for me. But I was sent to the wrong one.
Oh.
And so I'm like, I'm already at the baggage claim. Well, so are we. So it's one of those like fucking like home first thing going on in the airport.
Yeah, the airport is instanced. You're actually in the same you're in the same place but on different planes of existence. So
yeah, exactly. We're just I'm like, well, I'm not seeing you, you know, and they're just like, we've been sitting here waiting for you. It's like, your plane's landed. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm sitting here at the baggage claim. Where are you guys? Wave. And I'm just looking around and shit. And it's just like, what the fuck?
So they're sitting, waving at nothing, looking like a bunch of idiots.
Yes. And so am I, like, sticking my head out, looking around, and just, like, sitting there. It must have looked fucking stupid. But okay. But anyway, met up with them. And then then the fun part started. The trip to the hotel, because where we stayed, we landed in Dallas-Fort Worth, but the actual hotel we stayed at was called The Element, and it was actually about 30 minutes away. So we ended up Ubering, but we were sitting there waiting for transportation, and we ended up just getting tired of it and calling an Uber. Because, like, it had this weird schedule that nobody could figure out. Anyway, we got the Uber, we started heading there. The dude who was driving us was really fucking funny. Made jokes about putting his wife in the trunk so he could avoid paying extra at tolls. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty funny. Oh, and before we got in there, we got to see some dude get clipped by a car.
Oh.
Like,
funny.
some guy was sitting there bent over, and his head just got hit by a fucking end of a car.
Jesus Christ.
And you could hear him screeching and yelling. It was like, holy fuck, it scared the fuck out of me. He's right behind me. Anyway, we got to the hotel. It's called The Element. It was pretty nice. We first got there, and they wouldn't let us go to our room.
Oh.
They basically said it wasn't open yet.
Like, yeah, you arrived early, and the room wasn't ready yet.
Yes, exactly. So they still took our baggage on, like, the little cart.
Right.
They loaded everything there, and we were just like, well, fuck, what are we going to do? And we ended up just, I think, going down the street and taking another Uber to a Whataburger. You know, just while kill time, you know, because, well, fuck, we're not just going to sit in the lobby the whole time.
Right.
And that was cool, kind of learning the lay of the land. By the way, I'll just go on record, the Ubers around there are amazing.
Huh.
Like, we never waited more than 3 minutes when we called one.
Very nice.
They were always there, always on, always bam, bam, got you where you needed to go. Really good. Primo service. Anyway, now as for the hotel, okay. It wasn't a massive room, but it was a pretty sizable one. Pretty nice. It had a fridge. That's always great. It had a safe and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It had a TV that, like, it looks like it's mounted on the wall, but it actually comes off.
Huh.
And, like, you can pull it out.
Oh, okay. One of those things.
And yeah, it was, at first we didn't even realize it, but there was like, oh, cool. You know, now we can just aim it kind of where everybody can see it at any place actually in the room.
Right.
The only big problem was the only problem I had with that hotel was the floor was hard as a motherfucker. So if you slept on it, and there was 4 of us there, so, you know, it was not easy to sleep on. It was a hard floor. And even with pillows and stuff, that just made it worse somehow. Anyway, that's small bitch. But no, they had, just like you said, free breakfast. You'd go down there, they would have, like, pancakes, sausage, gravy, all that kind of shit. Bananas, like, you know, drinks, like lime juice, all kinds of shit. And free drinks, too. Only 2, but... So at one point we actually took advantage of that, too. Anyway, And afterwards, we kind of settled in, put all our stuff away, and my friend surprised me by giving me a Nintendo Switch.
Oh! Wow.
And 4 games.
Wow.
I got to drop in for that.
Wow! Congratulations!
Yeah, it was the newer Zelda game,
Was it like all new?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Breath of the Wild from the Zelda game.
Yeah.
Mega Man 11, Dead Cells, and one of these Square Enix RPGs.
Oh, interesting.
I cannot remember the name of right off the bat, so forgive me for that. But nevertheless, they did. Sort of jolted me, really. Because they fucked with me, too, because they said they had a surprise for me, and I was like, okay, all right. And they said, close my eyes and hold out my hand, and I'm just like, I don't like where this is going. Because what I know about my friends is they love to play jokes and shit on each other and people, and I was like, oh, good, this is going to be great. So I opened my eyes, and then I got a $100,000 candy bar in my hand. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was just like, wait, what the fuck? And they're just like, nah, we just did that so you were distracted for a minute. And they pulled it out from behind me. I was like, holy shit. There's a photo. They posted it on his timeline. Anyway, so, and that was pretty much day 0. We ended up calling up Sneaky One. You know Sneaky.
Yeah.
We've had him on before. We called him, and we basically went out to eat that night. We all thought, well, let's go get something good. Something local cuisine,
Right.
That's one of my favorite things about travel, really, in general. And so he came down, and he brought his buddy with him. His name's, I don't know, I can't remember what his real name is, but he goes under Arkbuster. And funnily enough, he knows other friends of mine. He's from Faku. He remembers me.
Okay.
It was weird. Okay, he was the guy, not Chris Hansen or whatever.
Oh. Yeah, I vaguely remember that screen name.
Yeah, yes, that was him. Anyway, so he came with him, and we all went to this place called the Twisted Root. He said, if you like any kind of beef, this place is like primo.
Ah.
So it's like, okay, we all went there, and it was very good. Dude, they served camel there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, like rabbit, anything.
Before today, I didn't know people even ate camel. It makes sense to me that they would, but didn't know that was the thing people ate.
So we all went there. We were eating and having a good time. Everybody was just kind of chilling out. We met our other buddy there, Todd. He's more of a local. And he joined us. He came a little later because he was coming off of work or something like that.
Right.
Anyway, we all went up there, had a really good meal. It started pouring while we were there. So it was so sneaky. He's like, oh, fuck, my car's going to flood. Kind of shit. It won't start or whatever. Anyway, that was basically the first day because we dumped all our stuff. We all just hung out, kind of felt the surroundings. Everybody was tired from the day. So, early day, I mean, come midnight, I think all of us were out.
Right.
Which is not usual, by the way. Anyway, so moving along. Day 1. Okay, boy. We all got up nice, bright and early, go through the motions, shower, clean yourself, brush your teeth, all that bullshit. And after everybody got ready, we went down to the thing to wait for the bus, the shuttle bus.
Right.
Yeah, this is how we knew stuff was going to start going downhill real quick. We waited for over an hour before it showed up. And the guy had no idea what the fuck was going on, where we were going, nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm like, oh, I can already feel this is going to be bad. And boy, was I right. Okay, so eventually we get in there, and he goes through a couple other stops and picks him up. I'm not going to go through every detail. But,
right.
So pick up a couple people from each little stop, and then we go to the place, right? They dump us off, and as soon as we get off, it's like, where the fuck are we? Like this is the place. It's Fair Park, which apparently was pretty ghetto, according to Sneaky. Anyway, before we got there, but ghetto is light. It looked like the entrance to Sobibor. And I'm not exaggerating. Okay? This had fencing everywhere. Like, and when I say fencing, I mean barbed wire type fencing and shit. Like, everywhere. Alright? And they had one choke point where they had a security check.
Oh, no.
Alright? And you basically got processed through that. And they were surprisingly quick and good about it. So, I mean, there's that. Small favors. But here's the best part. You went directly past that, after you got past that, and then there would be a line of Johnny on the spots.
Hmm.
There weren't any in the building you could use. There was literally like 10 Johnny on the spots, like in a row. And one of those like fucking like soft soap things outside.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh. This can't be good. So then we eventually get into the actual... First we kind of look around like, where the fuck is the like registration, you know, where we can pick up our badges? Because you couldn't on day 0. You had to the day of.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. As long as they're fast, it shouldn't be a problem. And it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty big and everything, but the lines actually moved pretty smoothly. There wasn't a whole lot of bullshit. Although they did just give me a lanyard without the thing on it. It had fallen off the thing. I was like, hey!
Fun.
I had to come running back, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I can't just get in here with this thing. So, after we get that, everybody's kind of like annoyed a little bit, because it's like, all right. So, we looked around. The dealer room isn't open. You know, it's not. It opens late.
Yeah.
So I was on that first day, and I was like, okay, well, can't get too mad about that. But nothing was open. And when I say nothing, I mean no panels, nothing.
Wow, so they're just letting people into the convention, nothing's going on.
Yeah, because nothing's set up.
Oh.
This was switched at the last minute, and they're still they were still setting it up during the actual convention.
What day was this?
Day 1.
Yeah, but what day of the week?
Oh, I think it was Thursday.
Thursday? Yeah, that's what I figured.
No, but that's not normal. If you've been to enough of these, that's not even close.
Conventions usually have something set up by
like
by the start of day 1.
Yeah, before actual activities are starting. Anyway, everybody's annoyed because it's hot as fuck out there. It's Texas. So, it's just beating down on you. The only thing that you can do is basically eat and get sodas and water and stuff. That's about the only thing that is running. And, like, the thing is the way it was set up, it was surrounded in a way you didn't even know where it technically ended. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, is that even part of the convention over there?
Oh.
Because it didn't have, like, parameters. But they had security people, like, in these certain areas, basically... And they had people on that were, I guess, staff on these golf carts going by.
Ah.
And they clearly have no idea what the fuck's going on, and clearly have no idea about anime or anything. You can see it in their face. You know what I mean? Because I guess the people who bought them from the previous owners or whatever just thought this thing's big now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, that was bad. And what ended up happening is everybody got pissed off, and we actually went back because nothing was open. What can you do?
Right.
There was literally nothing to do there except get hot. So it's like, game room, that wasn't open. You know? So it's like, well, fuck this. We're just going to go back to the hotel until shit opens. So we did. And by the way, we waited over an hour for the bus to come back. Yeah. And the guy still was lost, by the way. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. So we ended up going back, kind of licking our wounds a bit. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully stuff will do better later. And we did go back later, and we did hit the dealer room. And that was the only good thing about the day. And just like you, we pretty much did survey. We didn't really buy a lot.
Right.
More just like reconnaissance running around, getting the lay of the land.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you see something that you think will be gone tomorrow, you buy it. But,
oh yeah.
But
your buy on site list. That's Friday, or that's day 1.
Yeah, Thursday in this case.
Yeah.
So day 1, I don't want to call it a wash, but I mean, because again, we got reconnaissance, we kind of learned where everything's at, or learned where a lot of things are at, and all that. So again, day one, kind of, we came back all sort of like annoyed. Oh, and South Park was on the whole weekend, pretty much. That happens a lot at these cons for some reason. So that happened. Again, nothing really purchased that day. But day two, some more interesting stuff happened. First off, still had problems with the driver. We waited over 2 hours for him to pick us up.
Lovely.
Yeah. This was an ongoing problem until about halfway through. Anyway, a couple interesting things about the second day. I did buy some stuff. I was at the discotheque booth. And
yeah, so your pick there.
Yeah, well, I didn't take a picture of anything I bought there, but anyway, but I did stop by, and they didn't just have only discotheque stuff. They had stuff from like Funi and everything else, a little bit of But the stuff I picked up three purchases here. One, I was in the mood for some Go Nagai.
Oh.
So I picked up Devilman and Cutie Honey, the OVAs.
Lovely.
Nice.
Yes. I wanted them for a long time. I still need to watch
the OVA Cutie Honey.
Yeah, those are great. ADV used to have them.
Yeah.
Anyway, and
yeah.
I got something else. Angel Cop.
Wait.
Fuck and piss!
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked that up. I actually stopped. There was I can't remember what group this was called. It was a gaming thing that just sold a bunch of video games and consoles and stuff. They had Dreamcast, old Super Famicoms, all kinds of shit, GameCubes.
Oh, that's the stuff Anubis would have, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and they were selling also, like, those slimes from Dragon Quest.
Right.
Those, like plushy slimes.
Oh, there's one thing about the dealer room I have to mention. You're going to get a kick out of this. There was one booth that had a bunch of, like, most of their inventory was, like, retro games. They also had some, like, I think it was either Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic cards, and some old school DVDs and vinyls.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing they were selling, and they had a TV on there playing old Nickelodeon game shows.
Oh, like no!
Double Dare, Legend of the Hidden Temple, and Global Guts. Another thing they were selling were replica pieces of the Radical Rock. From Global Guts.
Guts. I bet you were tempted.
I looked up and it's like, is that a glowing piece of the Radical Rock?
I could just see you. Is that me, or is that a piece of the aggro crag?
Listen, I feel like I can tackle the aggro crag.
Right. That's great.
But yeah, that was something I just now remembered.
So I actually took a snap of that Dreamcast because I thought you'd get a smirk out of that. I looked in the Super Famicom things, and they had an original Chrono Trigger.
Ooh,
still in the box. Didn't even have a price on it.
Oh, that's how you know it's way too expensive.
It's high. Yeah. By the way, the next day it was gone.
Of course it was.
I was like, "Holy fuck!"
That's like
I'm glad I took a picture of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's like I went to that was AB several years ago, and one of the booths had a near complete in-box Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete for the PlayStation.
Yeah,
for $100, and I'm like, this is mine.
Okay.
I'm not going to see this tomorrow, guaranteed.
No.
That was a day one purchase.
Right. So that was cool. I got those. We looked around. Kind of actually, the Artist Alley was really good this year, believe it or not.
Really?
I was really surprised. The quality of that seems to be really jumping up.
Huh.
But maybe it's just a good spot for it. I don't know. Anyway, beyond that though, we got there was a Bandai thing where they were just selling Gunpla, and I was in there taking pictures of that and like gawking at like Epion and all that, you know.
Naturally.
Getting all like stupid. They also sold like some Ava stuff and basic mecha kind of things in there.
I'm telling you, I see this at almost every Gunpla booth and every like store I go to that sells Gunpla, and it's been taunting me for the better part of a year. the Superior Gundam Plan 303E Deep Striker.
Just get it.
Yeah, it costs like $200, VZ. There's
Oh,
no
and then,
like.
yeah, you gotta carry it back to your thing. Yeah.
Well, I have no problem. Like Connecticon especially, I have no problem getting something that big because I'm driving, so I'm not like taking a train where I have to lug this monstrosity onto a passenger vehicle. No, I'm driving my car. I'll put what the fuck I want in my car. But the other thing is, it costs like $200.
Ooh. So, okay, so we ended up basically we did the thing that everybody does, which is like we all break apart and it's like we'll all meet over by that ATM.
Yeah, exactly.
You always just find kind of an open spot and be like, there.
Yeah.
That's the spot we all come back to. So eventually we looked around, continued to learn the lay of the thing. Again, not trying to get too crazy and drop all our money.
Right.
You gotta kind of ration that shit out. We ended up going back, obviously, eventually. Again, after waiting forever. Actually, we didn't wait this time. We actually called an Uber. We were like, fuck it, we're calling an Uber. And like everybody else, because when we came back, the people were waiting there for 90 minutes before we got there. And we just went to the end of the road at the other end of the thing and went, fuck it, and called an Uber. And we were picked up in like 2 minutes and got the fuck out of there. Anyway, when we got back, we dumped all our stuff off, and we met while we were out in the smoking area, because that's just really the only area they have like a breeze.
Right.
It's got like one of those, wind tunnel arch deals.
Yeah.
Sitting under there, just really cooling off. And there was this guy out there that we kind of became friends with. He's of Cambodian lineage.
Oh, wow.
And you couldn't tell just looking at him, obviously. And he says, no, that's common. It's like everybody always yells in Spanish at me, and I have no idea what the fuck they're saying, like at all. He spoke perfect English. He's like from like San Diego or somewhere like that.
Right.
And he was there for the con too, and he was sitting there smoking, and we were just chatting and laughing about stuff and making fun of dumb shit. And he was just telling us all these really funny stories about how like he keeps getting mistaken for stuff he's not. Like he's like, I always get people yelling in Spanish at me, and I'm just kind of like have this blank look at them, and I'll yell something in Cambodian back at them, and they just look at me the same way I'm looking at them. Pretty funny. It was hot, of course, as usual.
Naturally.
Some of the other guys bought some stuff too. I can't remember exactly what they bought when though, so unfortunately. But cool story is that night we thought, okay, well, the first day there wasn't really any panels anybody was super pumped for, but there was one the second day everybody wanted to go to. And that was a Gundam panel. It was called like 40 Years Amongst the Stars or something. Retrospective. And, I'm like, okay, this is like 2 hours. It's got to be at least kind of good.
Right.
I mean, so we all went down there. It's like, okay, now where the hell are these things at? We find out they're on the way fucking other end in this building over there. All the way. You have to walk forever to get there, which wasn't the problem. When you went there, that's when the problem started. You went in, and the horror began.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I don't even know. Guys, you're not going to believe this. We walked in there, and there's nothing but curtains. Like, what the fuck's going on in here? They don't have separate rooms. It's all just cut off by... It's all cordoned off by curtains.
What?
I'm serious. There are rooms made out of curtains.
Isn't this like the oldest continuous anime convention?
Yes.
Yeah, they should probably be better than curtains by now.
Last minute. That's what this is.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so it's like, fuck, man, this blows. Because you can hear everything from every other fucking panel.
Right.
And everybody's blasting up fucking idol music really loud to where you can't hear anything. And it's like, these fuckers. So we're sitting there waiting. It's like, do we sit here? It's like, well, I'm not moving right now. I'm tired of walking all the way fucking over here. Like, all right. And then we see a guy kind of standing outside of where our panel thing would be in a Char costume.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm willing to bet he's probably the host. And he was, by the way. We did end up going anyway, because it's like, fuck it, we're already here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bullshit, but whatever. You know, nobody was happy about this. So we all sit in there, these really uncomfortable chairs, and they were not. Like, I kept feeling like it was going to break out from under me the entire time. And so did everybody else. They're like, what the fuck? You know, like, these things feel like they're built out of balsa wood. You know what I mean? Anyway, we went there, and it was good. The content was fantastic. It kind of went through everything, and he basically had all the bullet points and a bunch of fun little clips and stuff.
Right.
He was very good. He was well-spoken, and they gave away prizes, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Because there were some cool stuff. One of the cool things is that he brought out was pointing out that Gundam is the 13th highest-selling IP in the world.
Wow.
Like, it's higher than Spider-Man.
I actually saw a list on that on Wikipedia about, yeah.
I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And I'm a huge fan, so okay, you learn something new all the time, I guess.
Indeed.
Bunch of really cool stuff. They talked about how they studied actual science fiction books and concepts before they started even working on it.
That makes sense.
And like so like the thing about designing colonies and stuff, they actually read stuff by the lead scientific guy at the time who was trying to pitch the idea.
Yep. Yeah.
They even had the name of the book and everything that they were reading to get the ideas from, and they even had like the cover of the book and everything. And yeah, it's those colonies with the like cylindrical look and the mirrors.
Yep. The colonies in Gundam, both the cylinder colonies, the Taurus colony like Laplace you see in Unicorn, as well as
there's ones in Wing.
There's ones in Wing, but there's one in Zeta Gundam that's a spherical colony.
Right.
All those are based on like established concept designs for space colonies. Yep.
Right, and they were talking about how there is actually some degree of hard science in a lot of this, because even the new type thing has the idea that from evolutionary standpoint, you would start picking up different things from being in a different environment.
Yep.
And being apart for long distances and stuff.
Right.
Stuff like some level of sort of telepathy or whatever, or even maybe telekinesis or something, would possibly be a concept that would develop just purely based on the need for it. Just a bunch of shit like that, And it went on for about 2 hours, going, through it in chronological release order and explaining where everything goes. It's basically if you've never seen anything, this would be very helpful for you. But it also had a couple of cool nuggets of things that you might not know and stuff like that. They also pointed out that there's some big stuff coming real soon. That he wasn't allowed to basically spill the beans. That there was, like, for the 40th anniversary, there was going to be some pretty happening stuff. But again, he said he wasn't really allowed because he actually talked to Sunrise people and whatnot.
Oh.
So there you go. But all throughout the thing, they would do periodic stops and give away prizes.
Oh.
Which was like Gunpla and things like that. Right? Okay. My buddy Derek won 2 items. He won a Crossbone Gundam.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, because he knew a fairly obscure question. It was like, I wish I could remember exactly how he phrased it. It was a weapon that was only used twice, and only in the series, but not the movies, I think? Or was it the other way around?
It was probably like the series.
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, everybody's like, and Derek's hand goes up immediately. He knew what it was. And he won it, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad someone...
Was it the real grade Crossbone that just came out?
I don't remember what grade it was.
Oh, okay.
I do know it was... I think it's a fairly rare one, though.
Oh.
Anyway, he got it. He deserved it. If just for knowing such an obscure little piece of trivia. By the way, the answer he said was the super napalm.
Oh.
It was the particular weapon they were looking for. Anyway,
Alright.
one of the other questions was to name the Zabi family.
Yeah.
I remember. I didn't get my hand up fast enough for that one. Somebody else got it. Obviously, I could have, but anyway. Also got like Gundam 00 or something like that.
Nice.
Stuff like that. You know, just selling, or not selling, but partying with that kind of stuff. And that's kind of, you know, there was something to bitch about, especially that one group that kept playing the idle music to where you couldn't hear anything
Right.
over everybody else talking and shit. And it's like, you know, this is kind of bullshit. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. They should have like a noise ordinance level, especially since we don't have fucking walls.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's being a dick. Anyway. It was a good panel. It was marred by all that bullshit. It wasn't his fault. Super, super cool guy, very professional.
I wonder if they were playing like Love Live stuff.
I really don't care what they were playing.
Yeah.
They could be playing some music I like, and I'd still be pissed.
I got. Right.
Anyway, so it was good. I recommend the panel if you run across it. It was called 40 Years Amongst the Stars or something like that. So if you see it as a panel near a place near you, it's worth checking out. Hopefully the situation is better for you.
Yeah.
So all that said, it was a good panel. We left. We all went back because it was getting toward the evening and everybody was tired. So we went back. We were nearly ran over by this crazy lady who was driving instead of the guy. And when I say almost ran us over, I do mean that. Have you seen the movie Stand By Me? You know the scene? Okay. Well, there's a scene where they're running on the railroad tracks trying to outrun a train.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
That was us. Because she was behind us without her lights on.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of the way. And he's like, what are you getting so... Ah! You know, like Homer screaming and shit. It was great. Anyway. I got back. We all kind of settled in for the evening. We were watching some... I think it was a late model Family Guy episode or something. Because there wasn't nothing else on. I mean, we weren't really watching it. It was just kind of on. And there was something funny about it, though. They made some joke about... And this would keep coming up the days afterwards, which is the only reason I'm mentioning it. Days afterward, there was a part where it did one of their typical cutaways, right? And said, like, it mentioned, like, old music with lyrics that don't make any sense. And then it started playing this shit. I think it's supposed to be the Birds or something. and then, like, the person singing was "The sky is in the sky. The valley's in the valley." It's like, well, no shit. And that became sort of an ongoing joke between the whole group. Like, when something just wasn't going right, somebody would just sing that. It's just like, okay. Anyhow, the next day, day 3, that night we actually stayed up late bullshitting out on the... Because they had, like, a patio. They even had a pool and shit, too. In this hotel that were free to use. But we stayed up late, you know. Actually, we drank, like, some wine and a bunch of stuff because it was free.
Right.
Why not? Anyway, not like anything stupid or anything. Nobody got, like, fucking sloshed or anything, really. Anyway, the next day, everybody kind of was a little miffed about the panels thing. We're like, do we really want to go through that panel experience again? Right. And everybody's like, nope. So it was like, okay, well, no panels, I guess. Day 3. In many ways, this was the worst day. And I'll explain why. Okay. Started off fine, because they finally got the pickup and the drop-off stuff going on some level that was respectful and not stupid. You know, didn't show up every 2 hours or whatever. But when they took us, and we went there, we did a quick round through there. I went through a place called Asylum Anime.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that place.
Yeah, you bought the cells from them.
Yep.
And I did too.
Hey.
This time. I bought a After War Gundam X cell.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
It's of Tifa Adil, the main love interest of the main character. God.
I know what she looks like. Yeah.
It's a really nice picture. It's even got some like animator notes and stuff on it.
Oh, you take a picture and post it on like Twitter or something.
Yeah, I might do that. What I'm gonna do is probably get it put in a portrait.
Nice.
And like behind an actual piece of glass or whatever. I mean, I got to take it out of the plastic to do that, but I think it would look better and less tacky if you did that than it just kind of sitting in a piece of plastic. Anyway, it's really nice. I almost bought one of Shirako because they had one.
Nice.
And if I had a little extra money, I probably would have done it. But by the time the convention actually ended, I started to get a little low on food money.
Oh.
So yeah, I get kind of paranoid at that point because it's like, I'm sorry, but that's way more important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We like eating. We must eat.
Right. So obviously, I got
this
that
thing more than food.
I got
that. That'd be that's.
That was my. I'll just tell you right now. That was my crown jewel of the event for sure. Because I think it was the last. Well, no, Turn A Gundam, but it's one of the last ones that was animated before they went all digital.
Yeah.
Turn A was the last one.
Turn A was, but
X was all
close.
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have that. It was about $100. Unfortunately, I put it between stuff to keep it like flat, but the left corner did bend a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm not happy about it. But I mean, what was I supposed to do? I mean, it's not something that you can just kind of throw in your bag.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and I did the best I could with it. I've got to make sure that didn't happen. So anyway, day 3. Go back here. Took that back almost immediately. It's like, okay, that's got to get back and put away properly. And I did. I put it like in the safe or whatever, put it in there, just keep it in there until I leave, basically. And then we went back and we went to the gaming room. So it's like, okay, we haven't really seen it yet. And we've already kind of done one tour through the dealer room, the vendor hall.
Right.
So we got to check out some of the other stuff here. So we went to the gaming room, and it was pretty decent. They had an assortment of stuff. They had, of course, the Smash tournaments going on and Street Fighter and all that. They even had some older stuff like Power Stone.
I know. Power
Dog. Stone. Listen, we should fucking. Can we trade game rooms? Because Power Stone is my shit.
Oh, it gets better than that, dude. They even had like these really old bad Dragon Ball Z games.
Ooh.
Like and they were hard to play too because like the controls were really fucking bad.
What were they from like the Super Famicom era?
No, they were arcade cabinets.
Oh, it's even more.
Yeah, they did not play very well. Anyway, but beyond that, they even had like some older games. They even had a little section where they had like Tetris, Super Mario Brothers 3, Contra, Super Mario World, Sonic the Hedgehog, just a bunch of classic stuff. They usually do have an area like that.
Right.
And pay attention to that. I'll come back to that the next day. We were in there for a little while. Derek was basically playing Power Stone, and we were looking around. There was Blaze Blue, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, probably Blaze Blue.
Yeah, and I even played a little because all the arcade cabinets, they're free play, of course.
Right.
They even had an original Donkey Kong.
Ah.
And I actually played that, and I sucked at it, by the way. Was not very good at it. Anyway, beyond that, we were there for a little while, and then something bad happened.
Uh-oh.
We're all sitting there, and then we kind of all look out because I think we were trying to meet Todd or something like that, but we popped out, and it's pouring.
Ooh.
And when I say pouring, I mean to the point where they announced and made everybody leave and go huddle into this game room just to sit.
Ah.
Okay. Until like a thing passed, and then basically everything just shut down. Like the con just shut down. And it did because on the way out to catch the bus to go back, the security people weren't even there.
Huh.
like the like line for the security, they weren't there.
Right.
Like they were checking bags and stuff. They just were like, nope. And I forgot something I bought on day 2. I did buy something. Forgot about that. I bought a Bible Black t-shirt.
I didn't know they made Bible Black t-shirts.
What? I didn't either. Media Blasters was selling it. I was like, you know what? I gotta have this. It's not dirty enough to where the average person will know what it is.
Right.
But anybody, obviously, who does is going to smirk, I think. They also sold one for the Vampire Vixens thing.
Mm.
That other one they have. Anyway, but yeah, Media Blasters is there, by the way.
Yeah, Media Blasters was at Connecticon as well.
They were selling Ladies vs. Butler.
Yep.
And I almost bought that, too. Again, if I probably would have had a little more money. Anyway, everybody was pretty pissed that day 3, though, because we weren't very far into the day when this happened. Like it was like 3 or 4 when it poured and everybody left. And everything just shut down. I mean, there wasn't really anything anybody could do. That's just, because most of it is outside walking around and to get to the places. But then, like, everything just shut down because all the vendors that were giving out food and everything else were just gone. So it's like, then we basically just had to go back, and everybody was pissed off and depressed about that. Mostly because it's like, oh, come on, this is horse shit. I mean, nothing anybody could really done. Anyway, then we had the last day, because that day we basically just sat back, kind of plotting our last, runs and what we were going to do.
Right.
And we just stayed up again, bullshitting. Again, we hung out with the Cambodian guy again. That was fun. I'm not going to tell you some of the shit we talked about. I actually recorded. I recorded it. And believe me, it's not stuff we can play on here. Let's just say that.
If you can't play it on NTR Radio, you know it's bad.
Yeah, it's real bad. But I'm not even gonna hint at some of the stuff. It was just bad. Just trust me. I'll show you it sometime. Anyway, the next day, final day comes around. Everything winds down, of course, because it's the last day. Less people there. But there was a couple of really cool things. When we did one last trip to the dealer room, I picked up some Satoshi Arishihara books.
Lovely.
I picked up Ragnarok City. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yes, indeed.
And there's one, I think it's just called Love, L-O-V. They didn't have his newest one. It's basically the compilation of all his Comic Tenma covers. I was looking for that. I also stopped by Hindane, but again, my money situation was starting to get bad at this point because the food. And I was close to buying one of the T2 Tony artworks because there's like a compilation book out now where it's like a bunch of his stuff. And I almost picked that up, but again, I wasn't going to. I already had ended up getting out extra money for food. Right. So it's like, okay, this is getting kind of tight here. So beyond that, we did go back to the game room, and fortunately, we weren't rained out. I ended up playing Contra at one point, and I beat it, only croaking one time.
Damn.
Which game?
Contra, the original NES game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I ate it one time in Energy, which is the 6th stage. And I have a witness to this. He's not here, but he saw most of it. And I did, and went through the game, then we left. They had a laser tag thing in there.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't very big, but it was like, we were all laughing. It's like, I guarantee if you got Anubis here and we were fucking hammered or something.
Oh, I would have beasted on the laser tag.
Yeah, we would have probably been. Yeah, it's like I can see everybody tripping and falling over shit and just getting hurt basically.
There's actually
anyway,
if you go like way back in my YouTube videos, there's a video of me playing laser tag.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, with a helmet cam.
Well, that's cool. Anyway, so all that. Everybody else picked up stuff. I mean, my buddy Amos, he picked up a silent voice I know. I don't know if I can't remember when people bought what though. That's the problem. I know they bought some other things too. Bought some Dojins. We looked at a couple of them. We're smirking at a few of them. The guy who was selling, the guy who yells, was unfortunately
Right.
he'd already moved to AX. But the one guy that
I would have personally liked these things, or
maybe I wasn't really looking with you in mind. I mean,
just be like, oh, that's something easy.
yeah, I wasn't really thinking in that term.
Nah, that's fine.
But when we were at the Hindane booth, though, one of my friends' buddies works there, so I was kind of chatting with him for a little bit. And the other guy that was actually manning the actual Dojin area was pretty funny. He wasn't as funny as the guy that's always yelling, but exactly. He was just like, "What kind of degeneracy can I help you?" He would say stuff like that.
Funny.
No, he actually said stuff like that.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, and he's like, so what are you into, elves in the butt? just shit like that, and it's just like,
would it be funny if he like just broke into a song and it's like, I got some dojins here, and would you like some food tonight?
I would be actually more alarmed by that than
yeah, exactly.
At one point I did do a Quagmire voice in the background. I thought that was funny. It's like, ooh, this is a Gaiden. The people looking around, that was pretty funny. So beyond that though, went to what the hell was that thing called? They had various places in there that, I mean, they were selling some dockies, not a whole lot of those. I didn't see a lot of those, but it was a pretty good dealer room overall. I mean, it was better than I was expecting it would be, considering the rest of it.
Right.
And there was stuff that I would have bought if I'd have had more money, but unfortunately I didn't. You had, again, there was a couple. They had some Gundam stuff I would have picked up, but it was DVD version, so I was like, I'm not gonna get like the DVD of Thunderbolt or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and... Anyway, Anime Pavilion was there. They're always...
Yep.
They sold a bunch of interesting art books like No Game, No Life around that area. They also were selling a Dragon Quest, like the history of book. And I almost bought that, except it was damaged.
Ooh.
Like it had like really bad scrapes and scratches on the cover. It like looked like somebody had just like clawed like wallpaper off of it or something like that.
Yeah, I looked at the at that booth I was just talking about with the Aggro Crag. They had a copy of Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere for the PlayStation, and I was gonna get it, but then I took a look at the disc, and I'm like,
it looked like somebody used it to wipe their ass.
It looked like it had been bombed on by fighter jets. So I'm like, I'm not paying that much for this disc.
Oh, get this. I asked the guys, I'm like, do you got an extra one of these? Like I asked them because like if you got a new one that doesn't look like it's been used to throw at people.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll consider buying it. And they're just like, no, that's the only one we got. Tell you what, I'll take $1 off of it.
Oops. Yeah.
And then,
fucking peace. Run, don't walk away from that booth.
Yeah, I got the fuck away from there. Like it was like, and then Derek's like, this fucking scam artist over here.
It's like, nah, dog, I'm all set. $1, really?
Really? It was like $20. But it was like, yeah, if I'm gonna drop $20, new.
Yeah.
And it looked cool too, which is disappointing. Anyway, all kinds of stuff there. I mean, they had, besides media blasters, they also had, like I mentioned, Asylum Anime, looking at all the cells and art books and stuff. That's where I ended up getting the Satoshi books from.
Right.
As well. They also were selling a lot of old, sort of like, how do I word this? Film trailer poster type deals. They got them like on big pieces of cardboard. it's the best way I can describe it. They look like sort of placards for movie previews almost. Like for Ava and things like that. I mean, they were real things from that were probably actually put on a window at some point.
Yeah, I do remember a booth at Connecticon having something similar to that.
You know, and some of them were huge too. I mean, we're talking people. I mean, as tall as like I am. It's like, and those were cool too, but I couldn't even have got them back if I wanted to. I had to check my baggage coming in, much less going back.
Right.
Because what ended up happening is American basically screwed me over by having like one of those written real small things. By the way, by accepting to be on this, you get boarded in group 9, which is the last group, and basically you get whatever's left.
Right, exactly.
And that doesn't usually bode well for you putting your stuff in the overhead compartment. Anyway, last day, some of the people we hung out with were already gone. Unfortunately, once stuff starts winding down, less people show up. So even some people you were there with kind of start piecing out. Yeah. And again, the food had been great the whole time, and all the Ubers we took, we didn't always take them. Some of them you could just walk, but you had to anywhere that wasn't just like around the block, basically.
Right.
It was pretty cool. They had something that wasn't cool. It was Amos's phone broke.
Oh.
Like his phone, like on day 3, pretty much died.
Ooh.
We actually had to go to a Verizon. And at the end of day 2, I got a text from my father basically saying my mother was in the hospital.
Right.
So the way from then until the end, there was just kind of a lot of bullshit and uncertainty going on. I mean, obviously, it was probably subtle or subconscious, probably, because all this stuff is going on, and it's like, okay, I've got stuff going on here. I can't leave, even if I wanted to. So I just tried to make the best of it.
Right.
The con itself, I'd have gave it like a 6. Because, like, it was poorly ran. It was minute. The new people who had it had no idea what the fuck they were doing. It was coordinated well. The only reason it even gets a 6 is because it had a fairly good dealer room and good company and good food around. But otherwise, it was not really a high point other than, you know, socializing with my buddies and just having fun and doing stuff like that.
Right.
Coming back was a pain, too. I don't think I mentioned that, but I was waiting for my flight to come and get me, which, by the way, if you know anything about airports and having to bail out on your buddies at airports, that's not fun.
Yeah, it's not the best.
No. Especially if they leave way before you do, or vice versa. Anyway, because then you're just kind of sitting there like, well, this sucks. Anyway, but this really sucked because they got home before I even left.
Oh.
Yeah, I was still at the airport by the time they said, hey, we're home. And like my plane was delayed. And then 50 minutes later, it's delayed again.
Oh.
I was delayed at least 90 minutes. Yeah, at least 90. And because of that, I got home. It was late at night, much later than anticipated. I had to have like somebody pick me up because I was dropped off. Because I'm not going to stick my car in their garage for fucking 6 days or whatever.
Right.
So then I had to deal with that person not showing up on time or
Right.
telling them, hey, a flight delay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, I get to come home to being in sort of a worry panic because
Right.
of my family issues going on. And as soon as I walk in the door, my phone's ringing and
Right.
it was bad. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things where it started off bad and it got better as it went along, and then there was just stuff that nobody could help, like the weather. And I got a couple of cool, I don't want to call them trinkets, but cool stuff there. Had a lot of really funny conversations and silly shit. the hotel itself was actually really good most of the time, except for those hard floors. You can actually do your laundry there.
Yeah, the place I stayed at had a laundry facility as well.
Yeah, I've never really seen that before. So I was like, huh, that's interesting. And at one point, we had those like key cards. You know,
Yep.
you just like wing it in front of your door handle, and it, you know. Well, get this. After a certain point, this is fantastic. After a certain point, the doors and the elevators, you have to use it on them too. As a safety measure.
A lot of hotels did that. Our hotel, the front door actually, after a certain point in time, requires a key card to open.
Right, and I kept making the joke while we were sitting there waiting. It's like, damn it, are we in the Shinra building? You know, you got like,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like every floor above the 60th, you need a special card to get into. And we kept laughing about that because every time it's like, nope, take your card out. We got to get up to the Shinra building top here. The people there were pretty nice. I mean, like the people at the front desk, they were really helpful. They had I don't know how to, like a personal sort of Uber there that was free.
Ooh.
But it only went like 3 miles out in any direction or something like that.
That's fancy though.
Yeah, it wasn't in terms of a truck.
Well.
Yeah, we did get to see something really bizarre at night. We saw people pull in and dump people off, but there's this one person that pulled up and a bunch of women jumped out and just started like dancing and like fucking beating on the car and shit. Like dancing around it and beating on it while blasting out fucking music. It was really weird. I was just kind of staring at like Derek and Amos and we're just kind of looking over like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, because they were blasting out this like disco-y fucking kind of music and just like hopped out of the car and just like circling it like they're rain dancing or some shit. And like beating on it. Had to be fun. Or just really stupid.
Yeah. Maybe they were all drunk.
Yeah, that's the best explanation I had. Or high or something.
Girls' night out.
Yeah, I guess. And then you had all these fucking scooters. I mean, it was like being in that South Park episode with the scooters.
This is something
Everywhere.
that's been taking over some cities, is these scooters.
Like they're fucking everywhere. Like
There's it's like a bunch of startups that are doing the scooter thing.
yeah, I mean, you'd go like to some of these places to eat, and then you'd see like 17 of these fucking things out there.
Yep.
Just kind of like almost like on a bike, rack. It was weird. I'd never seen anything like it. There's where I live, we don't have any of that shit. So maybe that's a Dallas, Texas thing. I don't know. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed a lot of the scenery too. There's a lot to see. Lots of big fucking buildings, and again, stopped at a place that served like really good barbecue. I think it was called Pecan Lodge or something like that. That was good.
We had some baller ass barbecue while we were in Hartford.
Hey, we're not gonna go to Texas and not have some barbecue.
Listen, they'd probably arrest you at the airport if you went to Texas and didn't have barbecue. Quite frankly,
For real.
have TSA tackle you.
Yeah, we went to Whataburger a couple times. No bizarre things that happened with the soda cup this time, or any bizarre crack whores coming in the midst of the evening. One little funny anecdote that did happen is Amos was sitting there. He's got his phone right on his lock screen or whatever. It's just basically a naked anime chick with big old tits flopped out and her just spread
Naturally.
eagle. Like the waitress saw it. It was giving him some shit for it. It was pretty funny. Anyway, it was pretty enjoyable. I mean, I'm not gonna go on record and say it was great because there was a lot of things that were wrong with it. In terms of organization, setup, just execution, for that matter. And even if there were guests there I wanted to see, I probably wouldn't have seen them. Just simply because of the way they had it going. Ended up, again, taking forever to get home, but it was a good vacation either way, outside of the coming home part.
Right.
where a lot of shit just went sort of on its head. But the actual adventure was pretty fun, and thankfully going through TSA was pretty easy. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just kind of hit and miss. Sometimes you get a jack off that won't, cooperate very well.
It depends on the airport and the time of day and whatnot.
Who's on that shift? It really does. Because sometimes you get just real annoying people that snap at you for the slightest shit. It's like, empty your pockets. Okay, take off your hat. Again, I it's easier just to do whatever they tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't try to, make it into a thing, because quite frankly, it's not worth any of the hassle. Just do what you're supposed to do, follow directions. For those of you who don't fly, and you're planning to, that's my advice to you, is also, don't worry about transporting your anime goods. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about it. They
don't. Everybody has porn and everything else. They don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
It's true. Because it's like these people see dildos and all kinds of shit every day.
Exactly.
Every day. They don't care if you have fucking smut comics. It's never. Nobody I know has ever been stopped at any given time for that. I have been stopped because I left a pocket knife in my bag before, though.
They'll stop you for that.
Yeah, they did. And I lost that pocket knife.
Yeah, they'll take your pocket knife away.
Yeah. Well, it was that or don't fly.
Don't get on the plane. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, I spent a hell of a lot more on the plane tickets than I did on that fucking pocket knife, so... Anyway, that's how it went down. It was enjoyable. I think the camaraderie and the hanging out part was probably actually the best part of it. Simply because anything else that was going to be good was kind of ruined by them not planning it very well.
Right.
But otherwise, it's somewhere in the middle, I won't say it's the worst, but it definitely wasn't in the upper tier. So, I mean, that's really all I got to say about it. A-Kon 2019 was not what I was expecting.
Right.
Again, if I wasn't there with friends, it would have been a complete wash.
Yeah. Having people to share the convention with really helps, especially if it's a lower Midland convention.
Yeah, and it's just not really. And the thing is I've been to A before. It's been good before.
Right.
This is clearly an example of them switching hands.
Yeah.
And moving the location kind of at the last minute and basically scrambling, trying to put something together. But it, that kind of shit happens. That's really all I got to say about it. It was pretty enjoyable in the time off sense and hanging out with people I don't get to see all the time.
Right.
Because they came in from Phoenix. And again, Sneaky and Arcbuster, they were nice to hang out with too. And Todd, I didn't really know him. He kind of became part of the group here. So he was cool too. We again, there's some funny stuff that went on that I'm not gonna for reasons that you would understand if you heard these recordings. They're not really.
They're not even safe for NTR Radio.
Well, it's not even that, but they're not really. They don't really fit either.
Right.
Because some of the stuff we were bullshitting about has no relevance whatsoever.
You had to be there.
Yeah, in some cases you actually did. Anyway, it was good for what it was. That's all. That's all.
All right. With that, that's going to be the show. The website is ntrradio.net. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. Hit up VZ stuff, vzmk2moyamekagatai.wordpress.com. VZ also has a book. It's called The Big Book of Idols. It's an idol art book. The physical versions print-on-demand release will be coming in the next couple months, so keep a lookout for that. It will be on the same webpage.
Excellent.
VZ also designed our shirts. You can find those at iashike.moe/store. iashike.moe being where I do a lot of my writing and content creation with regards to otaku culture. My good friend the Geeky Panda is partnered with iashike.moe. You can find his stuff at thegeekypanda.net. Shinikiba.moe is where I sell half-naked anime girl figures. You can find those there. Hit us up on iTunes. Give us a nice good rating if you enjoy the podcast. We're also on Twitter at TAnubis, at VZAPK2, at Immortal_KGods, at NTR Radio. I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
I'm KGods.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though the sky is in the sky every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.